What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. So I'm currently in the process of defrosting my fridge because I'm once again replacing the ice maker. Yes, would be my third ice maker going into the Samsung refrigerator. So as you guys know, there was a class action lawsuit against Samsung. They had really bad ice makers, even though the ice makers were installed on multiple different brands as far as the type of the ice maker that came with this fridge. But when we bought it new years ago, it was literally just junk from day one. And I would have to go through this once a week, defrost it, basically get rid of all the ice, and then repeat the process. So anyway, I ended up replacing the ice maker with what they call the upgraded model, which is this right here. So this is the one that I pulled out, and as you guys can see, it stopped working. It's basically the same fail mode. So you see this auger system here, the culprit is the heating element or the heating coil. It stops working, and essentially what happens is as your ice maker cycles, it never dumps the ice. And what happens is you start building up a ice dam inside your refrigerator. So I already have the ice maker out. There's your coil. I'm still waiting for that chunk of ice in the back to basically defrost, and then I'll be able to clean everything up and reinstall the new ice maker. Here it is right there. So hopefully it gives me another couple of years. But the price difference, I paid like $95 2 or 2.5 years ago for the same ice maker. Now they call this out as OEM. Samsung part, I'm not really sure, but anyway, long story short is now they're about $1.25 on Amazon. But I also went a step further. I purchased a brand new ice bucket for it, and the reason is this here is original. It does have, as you guys can see, some cracks right there, and those cracks develop from just either time, age, use, and of course this whole ice bucket freezing over. It freezes over on the bottom as well, and gets stuck to the inner cavity of the ice maker. So anyway, once the fridge is, or I should say the ice maker is defrosted enough where I can clean everything up, get the ice completely out, I will reinstall the ice maker, plug it back in. It's fairly simple to do. I'll try to explain it as best as I can, but like I said, I did make a video some years ago about this whole thing, and there's a couple of good videos out on YouTube as well. But anyway, it's still cheaper. Other than the ice maker, the fridge is perfectly fine, but it's still cheaper to spend, $250 with the ice maker, I should say with the ice maker and the ice bucket or whatever it is, than purchasing a new fridge. So this is supposed to be, once again, upgraded ice bucket and upgraded, once again, ice maker. So I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, 2.5 years, maybe longer. I'm not really sure, but yeah, doing it again. All right, so while I'm waiting for the fridge to defrost the ice maker cavity, let me tell you something. The first time I did this, I didn't have that big chunk of ice behind the coil. Now, this coil here is also very important when you're doing this procedure as far as replacing the ice maker. If the entire ice bucket and the ice maker is frozen over, you want to run through at least few cycles as far as defrost cycles, because you're going to have to essentially have this free. You'll have to separate and split the ice maker. And then also, if this is frozen to the ice maker, then potentially if you damage it, there's no replacing it. So you're going to be, at that point, looking at buying a new refrigerator. But while we're waiting, let's look at these buckets. So this is the one that I bought. It's supposed to be the upgraded version. So while I had a little bit of time, I started looking at them. And this one here, this is the new one, is supposed to have a better auger, this, that, and other. And honestly, I can't tell the difference as far as the wall thickness, as far as the auger itself. It does come with a brand new upper retainer, or the latch. It's identical to what I had in the fridge to begin with. But I mean, I guess at this point it doesn't matter because, like I showed you guys earlier in the video, this bucket itself has several hairline cracks, so it needs to be replaced. Anywho, I'm gonna wait for that ice buildup to melt away, and then this is what I told you guys about splitting the ice maker, right? So you see how it's almost like a fish mouth. It's open. There's a single screw right there that you remove to open it, but that element, that coil goes through here, okay? And if it's frozen for any reason, you will have some major issues and you'll break it. So anyway, but once everything is in place, I'll kind of show you guys exactly what to look for if you're doing this yourself and trying to save a few dollars. All right, so I'm going to attempt with one hand to show you guys how to put this refrigerator into a defrost mode. That's something that you have to do. So energy saver and fridge at the same time. Let's see if I can do it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Oh, there we go. So once that happens, you get a little beep lighting and you go to FD. And then it'll just run. Supposedly it runs on like an automatic cycle. It senses how long it should run to defrost your ice maker, essentially your fridge. But that's exactly what you have to do to either clear a ice buildup, and most of your ice buildup will be on the bottom of your ice maker, all around the ice maker, inside your bucket, stuff like that. It's horrible the way this thing works. But at least now you guys know. All right, well, I had to get the big guns out because I don't have all freaking day to have this thing defrost. So blowing some hot air on that back area. Most of it already fell off, came off, but there's definitely a lot of ice around the coil still and underneath. So just warming everything up. All right, this is probably my last time replacing this ice maker before I replace the fridge. All right, well, this is crazy. I've been going at it now for probably a good half hour. You see that cavity right there? That opening? It was full of solid ice, and it's almost there. I mean, I've just been putting hot air all over this cavity. Finally got this portion around the coil defrosted, but that ice dam right there is almost gone. You can see the right side is all the way through and the left side has a little bit of ice still in there. This is definitely not something that I dealt with the first time I replaced the ice maker. That's pretty bad. All right, so just got finished up. The ice maker with the bucket is in, the ice maker is in. I'm gonna leave it in. We'll see how it all works in a few hours when it's hopefully dumping ice into the bucket. And of course, what is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. Today is December 23rd. We're fixing to get some snow, and obviously today is the next day. So I finished up the ice maker, installed a new ice bucket. It took about an hour and a half to start making ice. Got up this morning, checked the ice bucket, it was full. There is a high limit switch on all of these Samsung refrigerators. It basically shoots through. There's an opening in the ice bucket itself to make sure that the ice bucket itself is full of ice cubes or ice, and then it shuts off your ice maker. That way you don't pile up the ice. So I did look through my channel, and now over 3 years ago is when I replaced the ice maker. So the ice maker lasted 2 years because I actually pulled up some of the older receipts. So 2 years was with the original OEM or whatever, the ice maker that came with the fridge. And then about, I'll say, 1.5 years or so into ownership of this refrigerator, I ended up, with issues, right? And I kind of dealt with them, going through that whole defrost function that I showed you guys. And it was enough. So I replaced it with a ice maker, and same part number as you guys saw previously in the video. So 3 years, over 3.5 years, basically, is not bad. I mean, you know, I paid obviously a lot less money for the ice maker 3+ years ago than I did, you know, a couple of weeks ago. But I also bought an ice bucket, so it's working. And when I looked inside, everything is nice and clean. There's no frost buildup, so hopefully I get another 3+ years or more, who knows, out of the deal, because you know, besides that, the refrigerator works just fine. The side-by-side works great. You know, your deli, this is a tri-level, basically, or tri-zone refrigerator. So you got your side-by-side, then you got your deli slash veggie fruit section, and then you have your freezer on the bottom. I remember when I first started having issues, you know, I was reading into the class action lawsuit even back then. You know, and like I said, this ice maker was installed not only in Samsung style refrigerators, but other brands as well. I never jumped on that bandwagon. I just, you know, dealt with it for probably 5 or 6 months and replaced it myself. And you know, it's one of those things. When the heating element fails, then you're pretty much done. You have to replace the ice maker, and you know, that's why I make these videos, DIYs. You save yourself a little bit of money. In most cases, you don't have to replace the ice box or the bucket, but I did. So all in, I think I'm at like 270-ish, but still, you know, sure beats buying a brand new refrigerator, you know, for $3,000 or more, or whatever, when everything else works just fine. So we'll see how long it lasts. I'm also going to include a link to a video that I personally used the first time, or one of the videos that I used to kind of, you know, troubleshoot essentially, and also replace the ice maker. Now, going in the second time was pretty much like muscle memory. There's really 2 screws that you remove, and then there's a tab that you press, and the ice maker is yours. You know, you don't even have to shut off water as long as you're in defrost mode. You're not going to create a flood or anything like that. The only thing I can say is this: run the defrost if you're in a situation like I was before, where the heating element completely failed, and what it was doing essentially, it was cycling the auger that I showed you guys, and it doesn't know if the auger actually rotates. It just knows that it's ready to cycle. And in my case, the heating element was completely shot, so it would cycle, not dump any ice cubes, and then it would refill or think it was refilling the tray with water again, and essentially you would create this whole ice dam. This time around, is just the heating element was starting to fail, and I think it's a combination of the heating element having hairline cracks in the ice box, possibly the front seal as well in the ice bucket, and it wasn't very well insulated, so I was getting a lot of buildup on the bottom side of the ice maker, also on the bottom of the ice box as well. Like condensation then turns into ice. So I ended up replacing both, but very similar, you know, issues, slightly a little different, but once again, I was in that, you know, I would defrost the ice maker every like 2 weeks. So it was still making ice, but still, if I waited 2-3 weeks, it would have been all frozen. And you know, yanking that ice bucket out when, you know, it's completely just frosted and frozen over is not good, number one. And number two, eventually you will break something. So, you know, I would just say this whole project is just about patience. You got to go through the defrost. What I showed you guys, once I removed the ice maker, behind the ice maker, right where the coil is, I mean, it was just solid chunk. I mean, a solid thick piece of ice, and I ran that refrigerator through like 3 or 4 cycles. Wasn't doing anything, so that's when I brought out the big guns, the blow dryer, and that helps. And I worked on it probably for a good 20-30 minutes. And then that little area that I was showing you guys, pretty much at the very end, is the drain. That's where the water drains when it goes through the heating cycles. And it was just completely frozen over. So I'll keep an eye on that, but it should work as long as the ice maker is doing what it's supposed to. So with the link provided, it will show you step-by-step instructions. Like I said, the frosting is very important because you do have to move that coil out of the way slightly. You have to push down on it Be very gentle with it. You'll have to split the ice maker like I showed you earlier in this video with just a single Phillips screw. The only, I say, tip or trick that I'm going to give you is the side panel that you have to remove. As you guys will see in the link, if you follow the link, it's very simple. Just the Phillips screw comes out and then you pull it towards you. That basically exposes the harness side of the ice maker and the main harness of the refrigerator. Then the second screw you have to remove is the ice maker screw, so you can separate the upper from the lower. And when you're putting it back, when you're reinstalling it, my screwdrivers, all of them have a magnetized basically tip on them, and the screw is pretty small. So what I normally do is I'll put a tiny bit of dab of like super glue right on the screw itself, on the Phillips part, and just enough to get it kind of lined up square. And then, you know, once you start tightening it, you're, you know, lined up and actually screwing the fastener in, you're good to go. So yeah, from now on, you know, we'll hopefully not have to deal with the defrost portion of it, and the ice maker will run for hopefully another 3+ years, and we'll see how the fridge is doing in 3+ years. And of course, if anything happens in between, I'll report back just like I did last time. Talk to you guys later.